Now, after months of economic struggle, the first grain shipment from Ukraine has arrived in Sudan following a recent agreement between Moscow and Kiev. The arrival of the first grain shipment has been widely welcomed amid rising inflation and skyrocketing prices of food commodities, which, according to the United Nations, put millions of people in acute poverty. Now, Sudanese officials said the resumption of Ukraine in export to Sudan is helping bridge the gap and limiting the risk of food insecurity in the North African nation. Let's have more details of that in this report.
The Sea Eagle vessel is carrying 65 metric tons of Ukrainian grain to Sudan. The move follows an agreement reached between Kyiv and Moscow recently.
This step needs to be followed by a commitment from Russia, Ukraine, the United States and the agreement mediators to assure the implementation of the agreement. The famine is threatening half of the population in Sudan, among other African countries.
The shipment of wheat from Ukraine comes at a time of acute food insecurity in Sudan's Darfur, Khartoum, Kassala and White Nile states, which the UN says is affecting almost 1/4 of the country's population.
The UN says more than 11 million Sudanese people are facing acute hunger. The situation has been worsened by rising inflation, floods that have damaged crops, the freeze in foreign aid and conflict, and the UN-mediated initiative to resume wheat, grain and fertilizer exports from Black Sea ports is a welcome move.
The resumption of Ukrainian exports to Sudan is helping in bridging the gap and limiting the risks of food insecurity in threatened countries like Sudan. It's a huge step.
This is the first grain shipment to Sudan since the military coup in October 2021. Officials say the wheat will offer relief to the country, which is on the verge of starvation. Earlier in August, the United Nations World Food Programme arranged the first shipment of grains from the Black Sea ports to struggling African countries. The WFP said an additional US-funded 150,000 tons of wheat grain from Ukraine will be sent in the coming weeks.